I've forgotten that.
And that is because it's a new place, and I was like rushing. Okay, so do we have any groups? I think it's Lilia and Maria that you've chosen the first line. Yeah, can you start like helping each other, or maybe one of you presenting your story, imaginary story?
It's imaginary, yeah.
Yeah.
It happened 15 years ago, and we were students at that moment, and we decided to go on holiday to Scotland. But we didn't have much money, of course. We were students, so we could afford only some basic place to stay. And we decided to explore the local club scene. We ended up at some nice club, and we spent there the whole night. And but we hadn't known that the crime rate was quite high in that city. And so on our way back early in the morning, someone just snatched my bag away from me, and unfortunately all our money and return tickets were in this bag, because we didn't want to leave them in that basic hostel where we stayed. So we tried to call the police, but it was no use. And so what's the phrase?
We ended up hitchhiking.
Hitchhiking all the way back from the northernmost town in Scotland.
In Scotland, yeah. So you used phrasal verb correctly. Ended up hitchhiking. Okay, lovely story. Did you like it, other people? Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's sometimes, researchers say that we don't activate the left part or the right part of the body, of the brain, the right hemisphere, which is responsible for our creativity and such tasks. First, maybe they may seem, well, why should we do them? But yeah, they can activate some imagination.
But it was difficult. Now I understand my students who don't want to.
Yeah, to create anything. Yeah. It's much easier to tell and they are more active when they tell true stories rather than imaginary stories. Yeah, but that's the teacher's book that we teach. Yeah, and we can try and ask maybe during the meeting, ask Hudala why we should imagine using a variety of tenses. Okay, do we have any groups with the second sentence? Unsurprisingly, once they narrowed down the candidates on the list, I was no longer included. Nobody? Yeah. Okay. Can we have the last one? I can honestly say that I will never go through such an ordeal again. Ordeal is a hard experience. Okay. Can you, Karinka?
Elia, I don't know why I took my email address instead of taking my first name, but Zoom surprises me today. Okay, so the last sentence here. So once I decided to book a hotel on booking.com, and according to the photos on the website, I chose one of the most beautiful hotels and started my journey to this place. When we arrived, it really turned out to be slums. So I went to the owner of the building and asked him to pay the money back and another hotel in another city. So I can honestly say that I will never go through such an ordeal again.
Oh, fantastic story. Is that a true story or
Yeah, no, not
partly.
I wouldn't say that the whole story is true, but there is a part of truth there.
Yeah, okay. There's always part of truth in imaginary stories. Thank you, Eleonora. Yeah, I really like that. Yeah, thank you. Okay, and Tatiana, Alena, the same sentence at the end. Okay, can anybody tell your story?
Okay, start, please. No.
Sorry.
Should I start?
Yeah, you can. Or Alena, anybody, or just Alena can add some details. Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Tatiana.
Okay, Tatiana, you are a new person. Yeah, and you are a victim. Yes.
Okay, anyway, it happened to a lady one day that she got an invitation for a job interview, she got an invitation, and the first stop was to get over the phone call and phone interview. And she got a call from the HR manager, and everything was going well when she heard some noise in her flat, and it was her son who woke up unexpectedly, and she had to continue talking to an HR manager, trying to help her son at the same time, and it was a great challenge. Paula managed to deal with it, and she was invited to the next step, which is the office interview. And when she came there, she was very sorry to know that the manager wasn't unhappy to see that she had a kid, and she was a kind of a person who wasn't expected to be there with the kid and the young mom. And besides, she had to try to convince the manager to play a role of a promoter, because that was the promoter of an English school. And she failed because she didn't know any English at all, and she had to convince her boss to make to buy something from school, and she failed. And so she decided that she could honestly say that she will never ever go through such an ordeal again.
Okay, a sad story for an English teacher. Wow. We all know. Yeah.
Yeah. Promoter.
Oh, promoter. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. It reminded me of the story. Probably you've watched a couple of years ago. There was a video everywhere in the internet about a journalist, if I'm not mistaken, a BBC journalist having a report from his house is somewhere in South Korea or somewhere like in Korean, because his wife is Korean. And during the program, just in the middle of the program, there was a baby running up to him, and then his mom or a nurse or somebody. Yeah, do you remember? Have you watched it?
Yeah, I do. I remember that. It was hilarious.
There were so many just suggestions why he didn't. It was like he did not react at all. He was continuing the presentation, his report or whatever.
Yeah.
And there were, I remember there was one lovely suggestion that he was without any pants. That's why he could not stand up or whatever. It's like, yeah, it's when people observe you, you don't know. Yeah, I may have my online lessons wearing only underpants, and that's it. Yeah, that's why. Yeah. Yeah, Tatiana, do you ever you just, is that okay? Because I know you teach online, and yeah. Is that possible?
Teachers online. I don't teach students online anymore, but I quite often have streams online, and I had like kind of similar things like
yes, babies run into the room.
Yeah, it might happen.
Yeah, okay, kind of a no deal. Okay, and one more. We have Natalie and Lilia. Can you present your stories as well? Yeah.
Lilia, who goes first? Shall I or you?
Yeah, should I decide? Okay.
Your real story.
Oh,
okay, Natalie, okay. Can you start, and maybe Lilia can add.
We'll pick up. Yes, okay, it is based on a true story. It's not mine. It's my colleague's true story. So let's say this summer I was subjected to sorting out a visa to get to London. Let's say I had been dreaming about it since I graduated from the university. And since the embassy, the British embassy, brought in new restrictions to Russian citizens, I had to collect a lot of papers, contracts. I had to draw up about 30 contracts as I'm a self-employed teacher, and I don't work anywhere officially. And I had to write out all the bank transactions since the beginning of this year, just to prove that I'm valid in terms of money, financial status. And Lilia, you can continue.
And also the embassy moved into new premises, and probably your colleague had to spend a lot of time to find them. as I remember, she also narrowed down agencies.
Who helped me with visa, sorting out the visa, yes. And I ended up collecting and printing out 200 pages, sheets of paper. So, and I ended up getting a visa.
Okay. And you can honestly say that you will never, or will you?
No, I don't. That's not my experience. I don't want to spend 3 months collecting everything from everyone.
Yeah, okay, okay. So, and you were telling from the first person, but it's not you, it's your colleague.
Yes,
like as if it was your colleague speaking. Yeah, okay, I can imagine. And are you self-employed as well, Natalie?
Yes, I'm self-employed.
Yeah, so that's similar experience that might happen to you as well. Yeah. Okay, so did you like the stories? Yeah, and what a skillful use of phrasal verbs from the last group. Yeah, sort out, narrow down, end up, and yeah, some a bit more phrasal verbs that we can activate. Okay, so that's here we are, and we move on with our materials about relationships. And in our students' book, we've got again another my teacher's question. We've got a picture of. Can you please go to page, or if you need, I can share my screen. Would you like to? Or you all have the books?
Yeah, we do, I guess.
Yeah, please go to page 20. And yeah, the unit we are starting now, the lesson we are starting is called Mixed Messages. And we've got a picture of, can you quickly say what you see? Yeah, a coach and a few teenagers having some relationships. What kind of relationships do you think they have?
Teacher-student.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, trainers usually they teach on how to train and how to do sports more effectively, and
Coach effort.
Well, they look quite friendly.
Yeah, yeah, quite friendly relationships. Yeah.
So they get on well with each other, I guess.
Yeah, and in this lesson we are going to focus on different types of relationships in terms of different parties participating in the relationships. Yeah, and actually the picture for me is not very much related to what we're going to have. The first thing, we'll start working individually. There is a list or a kind of box of examples of relationships. And can you now, in your student's book, rate them, put them in the order from the biggest influence on your life to the smallest influence in your life. Then you will work in pairs and you will, or maybe in small groups again, the task will be to explain why it had, so these kinds of relationships had the strongest influence and the least strong influence. Okay? A couple of minutes will be fine to rank them in order of importance, how they influenced your life. All words clear? Siblings, not a problem. Yeah, life partner. In the teacher's book gives a lovely explanation. It's a modern way to describe a long-term relationship which covers unmarried and some sex relationships, as well as not between husband and wife.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Is everyone alive? Irina, you're not killing anyone. Yeah, okay.
Do they mean that husband and wife?
They are life partners as well as unmarried couples.
Yeah, for example, I have a long-term relationship with my partner, but we're not married, so officially. So he's my life partner, right?
He's your life partner, yeah. And my husband, with whom I've been married for 23 years, is my life partner. Hello. Hello. have you finished?
Yeah.
Yeah, no imaginary stories now. All stories should be true. Okay, be as honest as possible. So, and you go to your new rooms. Hopefully, they will be new, because yeah, it's like I divide you randomly now. Hopefully, you'll get new participants. Okay, here you are.
Okay, doesn't matter. Yeah.
No, it's not a problem. Just.
Okay, so let's discuss.
Let's discuss. So my first choice, not first choice, the people who influenced me most of all, their parents, of course, and grandparents, I guess. What about you?
Yeah, same here, definitely. Because especially my mom, probably not my dad, but my mom, she's a very, she tends to be a bit bossy. So when I was a kid, she always told me like what to do, blah, blah, blah. But she's often right in her decisions. And I mean, I respect her a lot because she's smart, and most of her advice was always very useful to me. So, and right now we get on well, and she still influences me, but I hope now I can influence her too. Because because he's an adult now. Okay.
What about
and I think siblings number one for me.
Unfortunately, it's not like this for me. I do have an elder brother. He's 7 years older than me, but we have nothing in common. He lives a stone's thrown away from me in the same neighborhood, and we help each other, but nothing to speak about. We just say hi and goodbye.
Really? Oh, wow, it's a surprise. You know, I'm very, very close to my sister, even when I was lived abroad, like it's like 12 hours. I lived in the United States, she was in Russia. We still have a good connection after even losing our parents. And I think, you know, like, I don't know, we will never be close when we were kids, but after, you know, after this strategy, you know, we still like have a very good connection. Even we don't see each other very often, you know, we try to have a good connection and to be and trust each other and help each other in any time and any minute.
That's a blessing.
Yeah,
definitely. So in this, for me, the second, the second number is colleagues. I don't have any.
I am a parent and children influencing me. The next one is my neighbors, because some of them are friends. I don't have business partners, but I would say that all the colleagues, I mean other parents that we are getting on well, or neighbors as well, and the other teachers that I do communicate not only about professional stuff, but about a lot of other stuff as well. I've never, well, I did some sports, but I would never say that coaches ever influenced me. I haven't become an athlete. And the last one is probably doctor-patient. I don't think that doctors influence much my life. I mostly get the knowledge from the books, and I use the doctor just to set diagnosis.
Influence for sure. I know from my side and from his side. So that's
same here, because we spend a lot of time together. So definitely we influence each other. 3. So for you, it's teacher and pupil.
So I chose life partners, and after that, teacher and pupil. What was your choice?
I would say, I don't know, I would say sibling, or probably.
Yeah, that was the question. Yes, I have just only a younger brother, and he's 9 years younger than me. So I'm not sure that he could influence.
Really? Why not?
Yeah, probably. That's a difficult question. Yes, I don't know actually. And now we don't spend much time together, unfortunately. So, and our childhood, of course, in the childhood we were together a lot, and I was like his nurse.
Right. Well, so probably he taught you how to be like a good mother, or how to look after.
They don't like it.
I see. Yeah, that's a problem. I know what you mean. Yeah.
The same problems.
Well, not really the same. My child is usually the only one who has got all kinds of these injections, and he is the only one who is allowed to attend all kinds of classes. It's like everybody is not allowed, but he is. So
amazing. We have the other problem. Opposite, I would say. Yeah, my dear. I'm trying to find a nanny right now.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, because I had to change. I think the problem was with my headsets again. I couldn't hear you for some moment, and then maybe this way will be better. Technical problems. Okay, have you managed to discuss all partner relationships? I mean, all members of your group, because you were a bigger group.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting, because we can learn some new information about each other.
Well, I think we have quite a lot in common with.
Yeah.
So.
And we know each other, by the way.
Lovely.
Online, I would say.
Sport does not influence us, that much. Coaches, maybe, we are not sports. Okay, does anybody want to share what was your discussion? Well, did you like it? Was it interesting? Was it helpful in learning a bit more about us as teachers?
I have one question for everyone.
Okay.
How would you, how much the influence of your parents on you is bigger than the influence of your kids on you?
Yeah, that's a difficult question. Yeah, I think that's like similar in my case, for example. I respect my parents, and I'm grateful to them because I'm here and I'm what I am. And I'm really grateful to my children because they are very lovely daughters. I can't just say someone is more important. You mean it's in the first book, and it's difficult to identify if it's very important, or did I get the question right?
How do you feel the impact? Because when we are parents, we are acting, we are doing actively something. Yes, when we are a child, we are being educated, and we don't appreciate all the, we can't praise, we can't evaluate, assess all this influence.
But then we grow up and we can just remember what happened to us in our childhood. It depends on what kind of relationships we have. If we had some kind of angry or bossy parents, we may not be really happy with that. We may, there's so much involved in it. I don't know. Yeah, anybody? Just to...
I have a question. Has anyone, or has everyone put parent-child relationship onto the first place?
Actually, I did. Actually, we did. Natalie,
we did
the same thing. Yes. But we talk about that. For example, I have a kid and I'm a mom at the same time. I will put the relationship between parent and child, as number one.
So you mean that you put onto the first place, but it can be from the point of view of the parent to child, or from the child to parent?
I am a parent and I have children.
No, I think they meant that your parents influence you.
But since I don't have a grandparents and parents, and by myself, and you know, what can be number one?
I think it doesn't matter. It's just about, we're just discussing in general. So yeah. It's not like, it's not rocket science where we have to like choose something precise and.
So you know, I don't know why I put it like parent and child as number one, and then second will be siblings, and the third is life partner. But yeah, you know, I put like I'm the mom and I have a kids.
No, I think they meant that you have parents.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think it's a kind of leading activity, just having a bit of vocabulary revision before we start the listening part. We are going to have a lovely story. It's still a secret to me to what happened, and your job will be like to guess what happened to this boy. Our main character is Toby. And Toby, there will be 5 people speaking about Toby. We don't know who these people are, and based on what they say, what language they use, your job, your task will be to understand what relations they have to Toby, maybe his friend, maybe his teacher, maybe his girlfriend, whatever. Oh, and the second task will be to guess, based on all 5 short episodes, guess what happened to Toby. And there are no answers in teacher's book. I think they forgot.
And they didn't know.
yeah, that's what I'm going to ask definitely. Here.
They were not sure.
Yeah, because there are answers to all, yeah, probably I couldn't find, but yeah, it was like a struggle. Yeah, okay, it's really difficult. Yeah, that's quite difficult. This listening, I think, is more difficult than some previous ones. Okay, so please be ready. Take your pencils, paper. Some just checking understanding question. How many speakers are we going to listen to? 5. Oh, fantastic. Okay, and we need to do what? You listen and identify.
Identify the speakers.
Yeah, what kind of relationship they had, and yeah, what happened to Toby.
And the accident.
And the incident.
An incident.
Which sometimes can be the same, but there was something happened that happened to Toby, and all people are speaking about it, and we'll get some information about maybe why it happened. Okay? So here we are. I'm going to share my sound now.
Track 6.
Can you hear?
When he was a toddler, I worked in childcare most days, and he was always a bit of a handful. I did try and instill a bit of discipline into him. I'm not sure it really happened at home. My son would shout.
Yeah. Can I ask Eleonora, I guess, to maybe all of us for now, switch off the microphones. Okay, thank you.
Days, and he was always a bit of a handful. I did try and instill a bit of discipline into him, but I'm not sure it really happened at home. My son would shout and tell him off, but then he'd burst into tears and his mother would comfort him. So, totally mixed messages. I knew it would come to no good, but you can't really interfere, can you? Not that he's all bad. He's helped me out sometimes since I've been unsteady on my feet. But really, if it's true, I hope they treat him severely. It's what he needs to get back on the straight and narrow.
2. The frustrating thing is he's a bright lad, but I would say he has a stubborn streak and he's been prone to outbursts and answering back. I remember once I asked him to change desks to sit next to this girl and he just wouldn't. Just refused point blank. And then we got into this ridiculous confrontation with neither of us willing to back down. I had to call the head in the end. So yeah, I guess it doesn't entirely surprise me he's ended up in this kind of trouble. What should happen now? Well, he should obviously be punished, but after that, I'd still give him another chance rather than exclude him permanently. I'm sure he'll learn. 3.
Oh, yeah, hugely talented. And I would have thought he could go all the way and turn professional. So this has come as a big shock. Maybe there's more to it than appears to be the case. He certainly conducted himself well here. You know, I pushed him hard, but he's just taken that in his stride and done everything I've asked of him. He's had the odd dispute on the pitch, but I always took that to be part of the game, rather than something particular to him. He confided that his parents were going through a rough patch, and I was aware that he had a few issues at school, but I think training and matches were always an escape from that, and I made sure he was always focused. Hopefully, this is just a setback, rather than the end of his career prospects.
4.
I've been treating him since he came in here. He suffered some quite severe blows, but the operation went very well. It helped he was in remarkably good health for someone of his age, and although he's a little frail now, I'd expect him to make a complete recovery. We're going to monitor him for a few more days, but we'll probably discharge him next week. From what I understand, he's still a bit confused about what happened, but he seems to think the young man who was arrested had actually come to his aid.
5. He's in my class and we kind of went out for a while. He can turn on the charm and that, but he was just too unreliable. When it came down to it, the only thing he was committed to was his football. We'd arrange something, but then he'd be like, oh, the coach wants to put us through our paces, or coach says we're getting complacent, got to stay on. Early night, coach says I've got to conserve my energy for the game. I said, you might as well go out with coach because you've let me down too often. I probably would have stayed with him if he'd apologised, but he's too proud, and he just walked away. It was cold. It's been awkward in class. I actually saw him the night it happened at this friend's party. I don't know what was up with him. He was acting strangely, staring at the people I was with, and there was like a bit of a scene, but I still doubt he'd do something like that.
Okay, so we are. Can I now put you in pairs to discuss what you remember? Don't worry if you don't remember everything, okay? That was just first listening.
The most challenging, I would say. The first
Ой, я вас не слышу.
speaker.
I can't
hear you. I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can. You?
Now I can hear you, yeah.
Okay, this was a temporary glitch.
Okay.
I'm not really sure about number 1 because at first I thought it's a teacher. That now I don't know. I have no idea.
Actually, at first I thought it's kind of a group mate or a friend or somebody because, well, I don't think it's a teacher, and I'm not sure really about the first one.
But the voice was really old. Like.
Was it?
I think so. So how about neighbor?
Neighbor, well, probably.
Ekaterina, we can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Neither can I. So we might discuss other questions.
Yeah, and I don't remember much about number 1. Something about.
Well, bright lad. He said he or she, I don't remember, said he was a bright lad, and that's it.
Yeah, it was something about mixed messages and like telling him off. Yeah, so, but I don't remember who was telling him off. His parents.
Mm-hmm. And I guess the goal was the same as in number 5.
probably.
In number 5 story, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fifth speaker.
The third one is coach, I suppose.
Agree.
Coaches, I thought they're colleagues at work, no? Coaches, colleagues.
Toby is a guy.
Because he had a teacher, and after that, the girl also mentioned that he was in her class, so he's a student. Yeah, I agree with the coach.
With the coach, okay, that's good.
The next one was a person who made the operation, so...
The doctor, yeah.
The last one?
The classmates.
Friend.
Ex-girlfriend, yeah. I will go for the ex-girlfriend.
Well, probably sister, younger sister.
No, they went out.
Okay. But you know, there are elder brothers who go out with their younger sisters.
What happened?
So, something happened. Kind
of
the
behavior. She couldn't understand why, you know, her friends behave strangely, no?
Maybe fighting.
Yeah, and some very hard fighting because he was in the hospital.
And
the last one, it's his ex-girlfriend.
Ex-girlfriend, yes.
She wanted to go out with him to see him much often, but the coach was seeing. It turned out that the coach was seeing the guy because he said that the coach was putting the boy through his paces. I like this phrase. It's like he was making him train a lot, do more than do his best. Yes.
And she was really angry that he spent so much time with his coach and he in sport.
Because he needed to conserve his energy. Nice.
Like this.
Yeah, so and that's why she decided to dump him. Maybe she didn't say it, but it's just I got this idea.
She was irritated. It sounds like she was irritated a bit, didn't like the situation itself.
And what is your suggestion to what had happened to him after all this? Because, I mean, we have a doctor, we have a babysitter who found him a bit of handful. So, what do you think?
Maybe he had an accident. It's some kind of accident. He did not notice.
Okay, is everybody here? Okay, it was nice to listen to your ideas. Yeah, can we have a few guesses about the first speaker?
Mother.
Neighbor.
Babysitter.
Okay, the second speaker.
Grandmother.
Grandmother. Okay, lovely. Yeah, we still don't know. Yeah. In a minute we'll find out. Okay, and the second speaker.
Teacher.
Why do you think it's a teacher?
Well, she's been talking about some incident with him, like changing desks, and
yeah, he refused to do it. Yeah. That was something, changing desks. So Asha had to call the head, and Speaker number 3.
His coach.
Yeah, again, very, very much obvious. The next.
Doctor.
Because of the keywords you heard.
Yeah, hospital, operation, recovering, discharge.
Yeah, exactly. And the last speaker from his class is his
ex-girlfriend classmate.
Yeah, how do you know she's his ex-girlfriend?
They broke up. She told about that.
Okay, yeah.
He just went away without.
Yeah, lovely. Okay. Okay, and what do you think was an incident that all the things that happened to Toby probably somehow led to what happened?
Well, I believe he was involved in a fight with someone.
Yeah, there was a fight or kind of crime, yeah. Do you think he was arrested?
He wasn't. Somebody else was arrested.
Yeah, it was meant. Yeah, that's still a question. Yeah, okay.
And he ended up in a hospital after this incident.
That's a question, because if he was in a hospital, if he had been in the hospital, the people would be more sorry about, would have been sorry about him.
Yeah, that's
he, they said that he should be punished, and probably he was the one who was arrested, and in the hospital there was another man.
Yeah, probably, yeah, because that's a bit tricky. Yeah, Lilia, that's lovely. Yeah, that's lovely that you remember it. Yeah, that's very close to the reality. Okay, so
do you have the answer?
Yeah, I think we'll find out. Yeah, you'll have more guesses as soon as we'll look through the scripts. Yeah, what we're going to do now, that's one of my favorite activities that I do like doing with my students. So after the first listening, we work with the scripts. Not going to give you any answers at the moment. I will ask you to think about all possible words that may be here in the gaps, the ones you remember. If not, try to think about any suitable. And we are going to listen and check in a moment, okay? And we can use the annotate function. We can type in all ideas that you have, okay? Have a look. That's the first speaker, the most difficult, I think. Can you see the screen? Is that okay?
Yeah.
No idea what was mentioned, right?
The first one.
Do we need to discuss now?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, just give us, because
I think it's instill.
Okay, that's lovely. Instill. Oh, how can I? Yeah, it can be moved. Yeah. Okay. What's the next one?
Collect. No.
Comfort him.
Comfort him. Oh, fantastic. Okay, and two more gaps.
I know the last one.
So I've been on my feet. Yeah, that's difficult. Okay, and the last
the third one is something like unsteady, unstable, or.
Yeah, that's lovely. Yeah, we're going to listen to to catch it. No.
On the
one I know. It's not a guess. I know.
Bed and narrow or something.
Straight and narrow.
Straight and.
Yeah, that's another good idiom. Yeah, straight and narrow. Yeah. Shall we listen and check?
Definitely.
Can I share my sound at the same time with?
I think yes. I couldn't share my sound without sharing the screen.
So this is my screen, and how can I share the sound now? Совместное использование звука компьютера. Yeah, can we try? Yeah, can we try if you can hear? Oh.
When he was a toddler.
Can you hear?
I'd do the childcare most days, and he was always a bit of a handful. I did try and instill a bit of discipline into him, but I'm not sure it really happened at home. My son would shout and tell him off, but then he'd burst into tears and his mother would comfort him. So, totally mixed messages. I knew it would come to no good, but you can't really interfere, can you? Not that he's all bad. He's helped me out sometimes since I've been unsteady on my feet. But really, if it's true, I hope they treat him severely. It's what he needs to get back on the straight and narrow.
Okay. Can we, yeah, do you remember the word?
Unsteady.
Yeah, yeah, unsteady, unsteady on my feet. Oh, unsteady on my feet.
Does it mean physically unsteady?
Yeah,
or...
yeah, that's physically unsteady. Yeah, so,
because of the age.
Yeah, because of the age. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
right.
and what's the meaning of to be back on the straight and narrow? Is there any?
To behave properly.
Yeah, to get some straight messages from his parents, because the problem is that the messages were mixed. Yeah, we also have such these kind of mixed messages. Collocation, good collocation here. Okay, so she's his
grandmother.
Grandmother, exactly, and who had such an idea. Yeah, lovely, lovely. Okay, shall we move on? So, if you work with your students, for example, and they don't have any scripts or whatever, there is an option here to save the picture and send it later to students. They can also save it, but I'm going just to clean all the pictures. Yeah, so we move on to the next part. Again, the same task. Your idea is that this is his teacher, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you remember any of the words?
A stubborn streak.
Oh, wow, fantastic. That's what we had. That's the word streak.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, lovely. Stubborn streak.
Refused point blank.
Okay, do you know what it means? Point, can you explain? Point?
Yeah, like no further discussions. This refusal doesn't imply no further discussions. It's no, and that's it. In a very rude way.
In a very rude way, yeah, that's what I wanted to add. Fantastic. Point blank, yeah. It's an adverb. Yeah, that's more than one word here, I think.
Ended up?
Yeah, exactly. Phrasal verb that we studied, yeah. So much recycling here, yeah, ended up.
Can we say he's gotten, or he's got in this kind of trouble?
Yeah, I think, yeah, he's just got in this kind of...
No, like a synonym.
And the last one, it's like expel, but she used another word.
Exclude?
Exclude, yeah.
Oh, wow. So your memory is so nice. Does everybody remember, or only a couple of students? Shall we listen to Chuck? Oh, it's okay? Shall we listen?
Yeah, why not?
Why not, yeah.
2. The frustrating thing is he's a bright lad, but I would say he has a stubborn streak and he's been prone to outbursts and answering back. I remember once I asked him to change desks to sit next to this girl and he just wouldn't. Just refused point blank. And then we got into this ridiculous confrontation with neither of us willing to back down. I had to call the head in the end. So yeah, I guess it doesn't entirely surprise me he's ended up in this kind of trouble. What should happen now? Well, he should obviously be punished, but after that, I'd still give him another chance rather than exclude him permanently. I'm sure he'll learn.
Okay. Shall we move on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaker number 3. How much time do we have left? I think a few minutes just to finish. Probably, can we take the most difficult part? Can we take the ex-school part? Because I think, yeah, she's what she has here is there's something I would like to discuss with you as well, okay? That's the script for what his girlfriend mentioned, ex-girlfriend. Okay, do you remember anything?
Turn on the charm.
On the charm, you think? Okay, let's put it here. We'll check. Yeah, he was so charming. and he can turn on the charm. Wow.
You know, he was talking about, but it's
or interested in.
Yeah, I think I would never choose such easy vocabulary for so brilliant students.
No, it was nice, straight and narrow.
No, okay, let's have it as a... Oh, okay, yeah, lovely ideas, really. That's his attitude. Yeah, you'll see it later. Yeah, so many kinda gotta cause ini. And yeah, I've got a question because I don't know what ini is, this word. Can you help me? Because yeah, I couldn't find it. I realize it's a short form of something.
I have no idea.
You have no, yeah, nobody, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, again, it's kind of, sorry?
That's a big question, isn't he?
Oh, really? In it? Oh, wow, isn't he? Oh, has to proud.
Somewhere on.
So, but where is the question mark then?
Yeah, it's not here. It's not in the script as well, and then no in the teacher's book. Well, maybe we can skip it. But it should be here, I think. Yeah, it isn't. Okay, do you remember any other parts? Okay, shall we listen? Yeah, give me a second because I should like scroll it up to speaker 5.
He's in my class and
I think here we are, yeah?
we kind of went out for a while. He can turn on the charm and that, but he was just too unreliable. When it came down to it, the only thing he was committed to was his football. We'd arrange something, but then he'd be like, oh, the coach wants to put us through our paces, or coach says we're getting complacent, got to stay on. Early night, coach says I've got to conserve my energy for the game. I said, you might as well go out with coach because you've let me down too often. I probably would have stayed with him if he'd apologised, but he's too proud, isn't he? Just walked away. It was cold. It's been awkward in class. I actually saw him the night it happened at this friend's party. I don't know what was up with him. He was acting strangely, staring at the people I was with, and there was like a bit of a scene, but I still doubt he'd do something like that.
Okay.
So, committing to?
Yeah, he was committed. Yeah, committed to. Yeah, and in this case, call coach because you've let me down too often. Yeah, exactly. Again, another phrasal verb. There are quite a few collocations really good, but we have later next lesson, we're going to have an exercise based on these 5 stories. Okay, and still we don't quite know what happened. Okay?
Yeah.
I probably should guess. All right, so here we are. And yeah, if you want to listen in more detail, just feel free to do that at home. The workbook will be as your home task, and next lesson will start with some vocabulary work based on the stories about Toby. Okay.
Okay.
Stop sharing. Okay.
Did you type all the texts? Or
no, there are scripts. Yeah, I would never do that. No, I'm not that, like, yeah, you know, I don't have that much time. Now, all the reading texts and all the scripts are like free to use. They are in the system or somewhere. I do have them. If you need, yeah, I just can put them in Google Classroom as a file, separate file. Yeah, why? Yeah. You probably see some reason in it because it focuses on some good vocabulary, and there's no need to listen without full understanding, I think, sometimes, because the first task, it's just a general understanding task, and the second listening should be more detailed. Yeah, and what was the reason for you to listen second time? Because yeah, you more or less could understand what happened, and with the script, it's more language focused. Yeah, I don't do that at every lesson, but yeah, it's like I vary strategies on working on listening. Just that's what I wanted to share with you. And the important thing that you need to first ask what learners remember, just to generate interest, and just, yeah, but you know, yeah, what I tell you, you are all professionals.
No, it's interesting.
Yeah, because yeah, it's not like just fill in the gap, listen and fill. It's not fill in gap activity. It's more about retrieving, remembering, focusing. Yeah,
sure. Noticing skills. Yeah,
noticing, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so you can give some feedback. Yeah, because yeah, I'm going to teach 2 more lessons. I can improve. Yeah, if you need, yeah, I'll do my best.
I would probably ask to limit the tasks that we do in pairs.
How
like,
much time I give.
Yeah, like you have 10 minutes or like you have 5 minutes, stuff like that.
It's all different in groups. That's the problem. I go to one group, see that they just started and the other groups already finished. That's the problem with, like, yeah, in class it's more or less clear. For other groups, what other people do. Online, it's like, yeah, I should set the time limit. Yeah.
Yeah, but I like how you worked with this listening.
Yeah,
it's nice.
Okay.
And
yeah, and the first game, that was,
yeah, the game was lovely too.
Yeah, and the more words we have without any translations, yeah, that's the tricky it becomes. Yeah, I think so.
Well, and probably what I will just my personal takeaway would be that when it's my turn to be a teacher, I would try to anticipate like these problems that might come up, because like
yeah. First and even now as a teacher, I still I was not there in a learners group, and yeah, it's still difficult to understand what kind of troubles you have on your side. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so thank you for participation. So hope to see all of you next time.
Yeah, see you.
Yeah, 11:15. Yeah, please don't forget. It's a bit later. Yeah, that's we
yeah.
start.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you
Bye-bye.
very much. Yeah,
Have
bye.
a good weekend.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Good day.